Hi, it's Clover. Thanks for coming to my channel and for watching. It's been a while since I have been on the YouTube making a video, and that's partially because I left for Italy for a couple of weeks in March, and prior to leaving, I had a bunch of shit to get done before I left, so now I'm finally getting back in the swing of everything with the blog as well as with these videos. So yeah, thanks for coming, and if you enjoy these videos, be sure to hit the subscribe down below. So, anyway, I wanted to talk about the trip to Italy, but not necessarily in the let me tell you everything that I did while I was in Italy, because I think that's kind of dumb, because this isn't a travel blog, as you all know. I wanted to talk about some of the things that I learned, and some of the things that I learned have really helped me reframe my perspective here in the United States and just on my life in general. And so what I'm going to talk about is extroversion, introversion, and loneliness. For this video anyway, that's what we'll talk about. So as many of you probably know if you read my blog, you know that I've identified as an extroverted introvert, which in my view, the reason that I identify that way is because I've always thought that I recharge by myself, and that even though I'm good at extroverting and good at talking and good at socializing and really good at being outgoing, it kind of exhausts me like a lot of the times. It makes me want to afterwards go home and sleep for 12 hours. And it's not always the case, but most of the time it's the case. And so when I booked this trip to Italy, I had it in my head that I really needed an introverted trip where I was going to, stay in these Tuscan villas in the middle of nowhere, which I did, and I was going to, just recharge and reconnect with myself. And what I didn't realize is that I don't actually know how to recharge and reconnect with myself as well as I thought I did. So when I got to Italy, and my first couple of nights were in this farm stay in the middle of nowhere, about an hour and a half outside of Florence in the northern part, called Barberina di Mugello, and it's super tiny. There was nobody around, and my Airbnb was really hard to get to by car. And when I got there, I was like, this is gorgeous, this is amazing, this is everything that I wanted. But really quickly, I started to get lonely, and I started to get antsy, and I started to think, why am I getting antsy and lonely? Like, I'm here in Italy. I should be enjoying this. I should be soaking it all in. And I was trying to, but at the other end of it, I was like, yeah, but I'm in Italy. I don't want to be in the middle of nowhere in Italy. I want to go and see stuff. I want to go do things. I want to go be with people. And so the first day in that farm stay, I kind of paced back and forth for about an hour as I was getting ready in the morning, because I was trying to decide what to actually do. And in my head, I was like, you need to chill. You need to just hang out, read a book, enjoy the vineyards, enjoy the dogs, enjoy the cats, and just hang out. And then the other part of me was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to hang out. I want to go see stuff. I want to go explore. And the part of me that believes I'm an introvert was the part of me that was telling me what I should do. It was basically this part of me that was like, reserve your energy. You want to relax while you're in Italy so that you go home and you feel rejuvenated and not tired. And I started to realize that's not what I want. And so eventually I decided to just go out and start doing things. And I was still doing things by myself, though, and I wasn't really figuring out, why I still wasn't enjoying myself as much. I was appreciative of it, and I was loving everything that I was experiencing, but at the same time, there was just this constant loneliness and feeling this sense of anxiety that maybe I don't want to travel alone, and maybe I don't want to see the world, because this is lonely and not fulfilling. It wasn't filling my cup in the way that I thought it was supposed to. So a few more nights go by, and I switched from the Airbnb in the middle of nowhere, and moved to the one in outside of Florence. Well, it was technically in Florence, but it was in the Tuscan countryside still, even though the address was in Florence. It took me about 40 minutes from that Airbnb with like a 20-minute walk from my Airbnb to a bus stop, and then 20 minutes on a bus into the city center. And so it wasn't an easy location or convenient by any means, so I was still spending evenings like completely alone in this Airbnb where nobody else was. And one night I was talking to one of my friends and who's been traveling the world for 5 years, and basically said, I think I'm realizing that what I think I want isn't what I want. And I thought I wanted to take a couple of years off and travel the world and live remotely and constantly be moving, and I don't think that that's what I want. I think that all I can think about is all of my friends back home. All I can think about is my life back home. And all I can think about is, yeah, this is great, but I'm not sharing it with anybody. And it was kind of this realization that was hard for me to come to because I'm super independent, and in my head, that's like the ultimate independence is traveling alone. And so I realized maybe I'm not as introverted as I thought I was. And maybe I need people a little bit more than I think I do sometimes. So after that evening of talking with my friend, who is referred to as Captain Danger in some other posts, I just decided to go for it and I started booking a bunch of stuff with people. I started booking like tours, and I booked, rafting in Rome and like horseback riding and cooking classes and like all these different things. And it completely changed the projection of my trip. I didn't do things that were like typical. Like I didn't go to all the churches and all the museums and all of that stuff, but like I did these like very intimate gatherings, I guess you could say. Like I hung out with local Italians, and it's something that I would never have normally done if I had decided to just introvert, because I had this false belief that in order to recharge, I needed to introvert, if that makes sense. I would, like, for the first night in Rome, I went to, like, a suburb of Rome to cook dinner with this Italian family who barely spoke any English, and so we, like, strung together English and Italian and like were able to converse, and it was wonderful, but it was so outside of my comfort zone. But I just decided I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to extrovert. I'm going to talk to these people. I'm going to like laugh. I'm going to like, this is going to be fun. I'm just going to like bring that energy here. And it was a freaking fantastic time. Even though I was tired and I had had the stressful day of driving in Rome, which I don't really recommend. It's not that bad, but I had a station wagon, so I wouldn't recommend the station wagon. But anyway, so I kept doing that, and I kept, even on days when I was like, I'm really tired and I really don't want to do this, and I kind of wish I hadn't booked this for myself, I still ended up having an amazing time. And that was a huge reminder that actually, even though I identify as an introvert, what actually gives me energy is extroverting. And what actually makes me feel connected and not lonely is doing things like that that are totally outside of my comfort zone. So it was a really good reminder, and it's kind of leaking over into my life here. And in Italy, it was just this amazing reminder that we're all connected if we make the effort. And I was lonely because I wasn't making any efforts prior to deciding to just like book all of these experiences with Airbnb experiences. And I'm glad I did. And it's interesting being back because that reframing of my thoughts, instead of thinking, oh, I don't want to do that because I'm an introvert and I don't want to socialize because I'm going to be tired if I do that, and I'm already tired and I don't want to drain myself more, that kind of like set me up for a self-fulfilling prophecy. It kind of set me up to be introverted and fulfill that idea that I had in my head, that I was going to be tired, it wasn't going to be fun, I wasn't going to connect with people, or even if I enjoyed seeing these people, it was still going to drain me. And now, and I've been back for a little over 2 weeks, now it's like I'm going out with a different expectation in mind. I'm going out with this idea that this is going to fill my cup. I'm going to feel so good going and doing this and seeing this person and hanging out with this person, and it's going to fill me with energy. And it's made a huge difference. Like, even before I left, like, almost every social interaction that I had to go to, I would dread. Even if it was people I loved, even if it was people that I hadn't seen in forever, and even if it was like, it was just like the thought of having to leave the house sometimes was like, oh, it's so much work. And like, to be fair, it was winter in Chicago, and winter in Chicago sucks. So like, kind of understandable. But at the same time, I was feeling lonely this winter. I was feeling depressed this winter. And I think what would have probably helped is if I had reframed that to be like, this is going to be great. This is going to fill my cup. I can't wait. And I act differently because of it. When I set myself up in that way, I do act differently because of it. So, and because of that, I'm like getting the energy back. And even, in Italy, when I would go out and do these things with these people that I didn't know and total strangers and had to extrovert my pants off, yeah, it took a lot of energy, and maybe it was a little tiring, but the amount of energy that I got back from people who were like reciprocating and also getting excited and also like just feeding into the energy that I was giving, that gave me so much more back than what I gave. And so, yeah, it was really, really freaking cool reminder that we are all looking for connection, and we don't always know how to get that. But reframing my thoughts, at least for me, and thinking I'm going to do this and it's going to be fun and it's going to fill me up, that has made a lot of the difference. And I do have a theory as to why in the last couple of years I've been more identifying as an extroverted introvert. I think it's because of the trauma that I experienced in China, and I think the introverted part of myself was protecting me in a way, because it was hermiting me to take care of it, to take care of the trauma that I experienced, to take care of what I had to take care of. And like, I couldn't have been this extroverted being while I was going through EMDR trauma therapy. Like, I couldn't have been this bubbly source of like energy, again, I keep using the word energy, when I was being completely drained by having to go through all these traumatic events in my life over and over again in order to get over it. So I feel like my introversion served its purpose for, and I'm both. Like, I am partially introverted and I'm partially extroverted, and I think that's called an ambivert. But I have to stop ignoring that extroverted side of myself and like balancing it out with the introverted side of myself, or else I'm too extreme sometimes, and I need to find that balance, or else I'm going to do things that I think are recharging me, but they're causing me more anxiety than recharging me. Just like this idea that I wanted to introvert my butt off in Italy, but really what I wanted to do was go out, explore, and meet people. So I'm really glad I ended up doing it, and I feel like this honestly feels like a new chapter for me. So it's weird because I wasn't expecting that from Italy, but it felt kind of like a transformative trip, as totally lame as that is. So anyway, I will probably have another blog post about how I felt that Italy was a really good reminder that I'm living my life right now, and that I don't have to wait for my life anymore. But we'll save that for another post. So anyway, thank you for listening. Share your thoughts down below, and if you think that you're an introvert or an extrovert, how do you think that belief is maybe holding you back sometimes? And yeah, if you enjoyed it, subscribe below. So thanks so much. Bye.